But I ultimately had a child with this man. But I called on him because I needed to travel to get my daughter from this protective custody, and my grandmother had left me. I didn't have finances, so I called my paternal grandmother, and my paternal grandmother to the rescue. Financially, she's always been the one that I could have leaned on or go to in a pinch or in a situation. It's my maternal grandmother, and I must honor her for that if I honor her for nothing else. She's always been there for me maternally because I am her son's only child. But that's a whole nother subject and situation with relationships and, generational things and family members. That's other content that I'll share at some point. But the man went with me to the Greyhound station and to travel to DC to identify my mother at the morgue and to get my child out of protective custody, which is what I had to do at 20. I could be wrong because it could have been 21. I literally hate to even go back and do the math because it takes me back to that pain. But I know, I think I had just turned 21. No, actually I was 20. I was literally 20. So yeah, I'm correct on that. And I'll double check and make sure, but I didn't even double check the videos that I uploaded before this one. So go figure. I'm not going to be going backwards, forward, onward, and upward. And if I said something, I'll correct myself with the correct information as I move along. I'm not going to keep going backwards to videos rechecking. I will recheck the videos that I uploaded last week. It was a week ago yesterday. Wow. See, I never meant for it to be a whole week before I come back, but situations and circumstances. But sometimes I'm just going to jump on here regardless, just like I did today. And I'm not even going to get dressed for the day. I didn't even make my tea yet for the day. I didn't do nothing yet for the day. I just let the service person in to come and snake out the drain in the basement that has been backed up, that I found out that I didn't know about from going to get my list of things out the basement. So they came today. I had the webinar scheduled. So they came just before the webinar, and I was getting ready to be enthralled in the webinar for these next 72 hours, figuring out stuff after getting off of there and figuring out how to map out what I need to do. But after the first 53 minutes, I'm informed enough to know that this is not going to do anything different for me. And at the end of the 3 segments, they're only going to ask for money to do more of nothing that I'm not getting ready to pay. So might as well jump on out there and do my own thing today, which is what I did. So yeah, and it's not going to always be the perfect situation or circumstances or conditions for me to hop on. I might hop on like I did on Thursday when the bitch on the bus got under my skin. And yes, because all kin folks ain't skin folks. It doesn't matter what you look like. It's what this working with. What is this working with? Because if this ain't working with the right energy, and just because we look alike don't mean shit to me. And yes, I'm using profanity because this is not a child's video. And if you're sensitive, if your ears can't take the CUSS words that I'm going to be using fluently sometimes more than anything, this is not the venue for you. And this is not the content that you should view that may help you through some things ultimately. But if you want to be judgmental about how I'm presenting, this is not the venue for you. Because I use those words. I use those words fluently. It just is what it is. And I'm not getting ready to tiptoe on eggshells more than I already am, more than I already have to, more than I already have been here, just coming here, popping in, don't know nobody, don't know who's watching me, don't know the subscribers, don't know nothing about the ins and outs about this. The subscribers are minimal, but the people that are subscribed, maybe you subscribe because you want to see something, maybe you want to learn something, maybe you just want to be nosy and see what's going on with me. You could be like those family members that choose to watch me from afar on social media. Who knows? I don't even know who you are. But I'm going to be me while I'm here. While you watching or not, it doesn't matter. I'm here to be me. Moi. Roy Ali. That's me. So, the things that have shaped me and made me into this who I am are plenty. And like I said, if you haven't been through things in your life, if you had this little cushy, plush little experience like some people I know, even people I've had to part ways with who have no clue of what I'm experiencing in my heart, soul, and spirit because they ain't been there. They haven't experienced hardships the way I have. They haven't had to pull themselves out of the depths of pain and trauma and just all kinds of F shit. You're not going to be able to relate to me. You're not going to be able to relate to me because I'm not going to be here sugarcoating and playing pity pat with you to make you feel comfortable about what I got to say about what I went through. I'm not going to be able to do that. So it's a whole lot of content creators, a whole lot of sugarcoaters, a whole lot of clown medians all over the intranet. This intraweb is full with everything. So what I'm inclined to know about me is when my spirit is ready for something, it shows up on my feed. When my spirit is ready for something, it shows up on my feed. When my spirit is ready to elevate to another level, it shows up for me. So I suggest you tune in and tap in with you so that you can know what your spirit got for you. Because if it's not us, her, me, we, I don't want you here. This is for beautiful souls who love to learn and grow and expand and expound and be honest and look in the mirror. That's one of the things I didn't get out the basement, y'all. But I have like so many mirrors around here. So many mirrors. I have my mother's mirror, the best one. My mother's mirror is here. I've had that mirror over 30 years. One of the only things that I have left of my mother's. And I'm going to continue to have that mirror because I'm going to make sure I take care of that mirror. Since my grandmother brought home everything from my mother's property and put it in her basement, including her paid off vehicle. She didn't put that in the basement, clearly, because the car can't go in the basement. But my grandmother never has a driver's license in her life, has never driven, doesn't know anything about cars. But she kept my mother's car. And I had 2 children, ultimately, and got pregnant with the 3rd one for the man who went with me to identify my mother's remains and get my child out of protective custody, my very firstborn. He went with me. He supported me for that, and I'm grateful for that. But he didn't support me after that. Nor did he claim his child, nor did he support me with the carrying of his child. So, moved on from him, and would you know when I said something about a 30-year-old couple, we not doing that? Yeah, that 30-year-old couple, we not doing that, had the audacity to try to retract back. To try to, what you call it, double back. We not doing that. We not doubling back, babe. We always gonna be family. We always gonna be family. Heart you forever. Because I created life with you. But, nigga. And I mean that. That's not even a word I use. But for this particular being, yes, I mean that. Gwe. Guan and Gwe. When I play with you. So, yeah, he thought maybe, possibly, that was a weaker me that he could approach with that effery. But no, we not doing that. 30 years later, 3 children later, and lies. You stood in front of my mother's dead body and said, I'm going to take care of your daughter. Now, that was the good thing to say. Maybe your parents taught you how to be real quick with your words. But they ain't taught you how to be real diligent with your actions. So, that's where we at with that. And so, neither here nor there about him. After the identifying of my mother and bringing home my daughter, I come home. I deal with him a little, whatever, few months. I have my child in the September month, a year after my mother's loss. A year after my mother's loss. So, my mother was taken away from me in November. I conceived in January. I birthed in September. 9 months later, which is the same month of my mother's birth coming up, the anniversary of my mother's birth is coming in a week from today. She will be, I hate even counting the age. I really hate counting the age. But I know numerologically, she's going to be 5 in the spirit. And so will I on my birth anniversary. And that's how I know her age without even doing the numbers in my mind. I don't remember the numbers. I don't know what the birthday number would be. I could always go back to it when I think about it, but I try not to think so hard about how many years my mother has really been gone because it's painful. And I know that I look at her every time I open my eyes and I'm looking at myself. So I kind of acknowledge my mother as being myself because I have been mothering me through the gifts that my mother gave me in my very early part of my life, because when I came here and lived without her, I completely forgot myself. It wasn't until 33 years later in my life, I'm saying 33 years later, but it was like 14 or 15 years later after losing my mother, that I would remember myself at the age of 33. I came into my light again. And that's going on 20 years now. That's going on 20 years now. So this is not a new journey for me. This is not a new journey for me. I was raised Rastafarian. Excuse me. I was raised in a different way of living and light than most people that I had been surrounded by, including all family members. All and every other family member. Only myself and my mother had the enlightenment of a different way of life and the transition to live so. So all the remaining relatives that I'm here with, I'm the crazy one. I'm the black sheep that my mother was from them, from their perspective or whatever. But I'm going to be the first, and I am the one that will break all of these generational curses and spells casted on my lineage, in my family, and my children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren that will come. Yes, me, Ashe, Arroy Aliones. I am the first to break the generational curse in the bloodline. I am the first to break the generational curse in the bloodline. I would say first, following up the Empress, Zimba Baraka Kika, who has preceded me. So I give thanks for that wisdom, that knowledge, that guiding light that I came through. I give thanks. I'm very grateful. And when I said, having to turn the tables to be able to find the things that you are grateful for from the things that was taken from you, I meant that shit. I meant that. I'm not grateful that I lost my family. I'm not grateful that I lost friends. I'm not grateful that I was not able to do what I set out to do with my life at a very early age because of outside interferences. It's always been outside interferences for my life because I already had plans set, ready to go. And I had a good guide. And I had a good goddess that brought me forth with wisdom that I wasn't very appreciative of when I had her, because she was very ahead of her time. She was very different from the remainder of the majority of my family, and I faulted her for that because I didn't know better. I made the errors of not valuing the woman who I chose to come through for the lessons that I chose to learn. I faulted the birth giver of me, that is my God, my mother, my light, my wisdom, my strength, my power, because of outside interferences. And that's what outside interferences are designed to do, and they're very effective at their craft. They're very effective at their craft, but I made it! Asheo! We made it! We made it. In the fan. You hear what I'm saying? We made it. Yeah. Been set out to kill me since birth. But we there. Yes. We still there. And we double strength. Because guess what? We got ancestor shoulders we standing on. Yes. Ashe. Ashe-o. Front, back, and side to side. We covered. Yes. Ashe-o. And I give thanks. And it's so amazing to be in this space in my life. Even by myself. Even with no, what do you call, physical support systems in place. No physical support systems in place. No familiar support systems in place. It's amazing to still be and be in this space. It's amazing for me to miraculously be, because you don't know where I came from and how many brushes I've had with death that didn't succeed in expiring me. You don't know until you know. And if you want to know, I'm here to share it, because I've grown. And I'm going to continue to evolve. And I'm going to continue to encounter beings on this plane. Even the ones that are not for my lane. It's a part of this atmosphere. What else I'm going to do? I'm still learning to be human, or I'm unlearning being human. I'm figuring it out. And when I figure it out, I'll be the first to let you know. But in the meanwhile, I'm here for a purpose. For purposes beyond this vessel. Yes, beyond this vessel. Beyond this experience. This isolated experience. Because if I can make it, so can you. If I can do it, you can too. If I can get through it, I'm rooting for you. Yeah, I'm rooting for you. Because I know you haven't even met you yet. You haven't even met you yet. Imagine that. Imagine you haven't even met you yet and you thought you knew all about you. Yes, imagine that. Imagine that. Because it's real. It's a reality. Many people live many years on a plane. Many icades. Me, and didn't get to learn the real them because they got programs locked in tight. I got so many people that I've been able to encounter on this plight. I'm so grateful for. Many I am grateful for, and some that I am grateful for showing me who not to be and how not to be. And I can't wait to share those experiences with you too. So this channel is going to be a compilation of things. Many things. That's why I'm not putting a descriptive term on this channel. The only thing we're not going to do here is we're not going to dive into religion. Because I don't care nothing about people's programs. Those are programs. I don't have interest in people's programs. And we're not going to dive into politics. Because my mother was murdered in the U.S. District of Columbia. And she left her birth family and relocated for the purpose of politics. And she did not live out her lifespan, and she did not fulfill her wishes because of politics. And we're not going to talk about that. Those are the two topics that I will refrain from, but everything else is on the table. Any and everything else is on the table. I ain't saying we might deep dive. We not deep diving like our brother over there in some areas and topics. But we can touch bases. We could touch bases on a lot of places. Because I done seen a lot of faces. Yes. Yes, I have. And so, just to give you a little background about who I am. For those of you who don't know me, who have never heard of me, who've yet to learn me, and who want to know who I am, who I be, this is for you and me, because I've been needing to do this. I should have done this months ago, last year, shoulda, woulda, coulda, whatever. We're not worrying about that either. Like, I have so much to do, so much to grow to, and I'm gonna just ground my sea legs, period. Like, yeah, my first videos are supposed to be horrible. I'm learning. This is not my craft. I just have the gift, and I have the information, I have the insight, and I have the content, and I'm good at creation. So this is what I've been called to do. This is what I feel comfortable knowing my expertise can get somehow out there, because I have expertise, because I have manifested, because I am an alchemist, because I have exceeded the lifespan of both of my parents, my gods, my God-given creator and creatress. I have exceeded the lifespan of both my parents. They sacrificed so much for me to be here, so much for me to be here. And so much I've learned since they haven't been here that I probably would have never learned in this life cycle. For this to be my final life cycle. For this to be the completion of me. The birth name that I was given by my parents. And transition and ascend into who I agreed to come here to grow into. I give thanks. It's an honor. It's an honor. So I'm going to carry out my duties and my challenges that I have accepted. I'm going to carry it out with the best that I have to give the shot at making myself fulfilled in this realm. Unlike my beloved life giver who did not. So I'm not only living for myself, for my goals, for my dreams, for my purpose to fulfill. I'm living for my mother, my father, and my firstborn son. And that's so powerful to me. That's so powerful to me. You know? That's a big, big responsibility. A big responsibility. But I'm big enough to handle it. Yeah. Because if I wasn't, they wouldn't have put it on my plate. If I wasn't big enough to handle it, they would not have put it on my plate. And so I know I didn't completely get to up and through this 2021 timeline. But I'm going to have to come back and share some more and some more and some more until I finally get it all out so I can start this content route. Because I have so much to talk about. So much to talk about. A lot of good stories, a lot of enlightening stories and experiences. I actually have some great purposes in life and goals that I'm looking forward to fulfilling. Like, yes, I've done some things, but I've not done the major aspects of the things that I, in my spirit and soul, are guided to. And I know they were my calling. So I'm looking forward to materializing these things. I'm looking forward to sharing the growth and the achievements and the accomplishments, because the creator that I am, I'm the best I know. Now, I'm not the best I know, because I know folks and I know alchemists. I know some alchemists. But I'm talking about that I could touch, that's in my close confines, that's in my range of reaching. I'm the best that I know. Now, folks done claimed, and you know, I see some things, but I don't know for sure who influenced and who corroborated those moves with you. All I know is about me. I'm the best that I know. So we going to keep it going. We going to keep it growing. And we going to keep it knowing. We going to keep it knowing. Because I know what I know. And I'm so grateful that I don't let the opinions of outside sources that are supposedly the closest to me, that I lean towards to be able to draw some strength from, that are not present. I don't let those things and opinions deter me. Nope, I can't do that. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. So, keeping it going and growing and glowing, no matter if nobody is on my team. The team is going to be in place when the team is in place. But for now, the team that I roll with is on the other side. And they are my guides. And they are my strength. And they are my armor. And I will continue to walk upright in that knowledge and in that wisdom and in that isness. Because I am the essence of all that I came from. And I'm grateful. And I honor me. And I hold me up to the highest echelon. Because I know who I am. And I know what I am. And it's up to people who are concerned, if they choose to be, to know how I am. I don't beg nobody to follow me, friend me, come F with me. I ain't begging nobody. Because what's supposed to be for me is for me. And who's supposed